we're not live.
We are live now. This is, ladies and gentlemen, what happened was the camera fell, and this is take two of having coffee with the Patriots. So I will just give it a couple of minutes to let people realize we're back on live. And we're sitting here with Keith Picard and Nick Ewanchuk, and we are having coffee with y'all. And we're going to give you some updates. So, but we'll just give it a few minutes. And while we do that, share it out there, guys. Share it out there. And we'll find ourselves on here. Here we are, live here on Facebook. And we will share it to the groups. Because we really did a boo-boo. Okay, the camera fell down, and that was the end of the live. It just all lost on us. So we're just back now, and we'll try to get back the audience that we were adding, because we were having a good conversation. I'll bring you up to speed here in a minute here, as soon as we can share a little bit about this out there. Anyway, we were talking about Pierre Elliott Trudeau on his train and what happened to the train, and it was called the Salad Express back in the 70s.
No, 82.
Sorry, 82. And Keith Picard was on the scene, and he's describing what he saw when Elliott Trudeau's car comes into the yard. Take it away, Keith.
Anyway, we get this car into the shop, the main shop, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, man, who would do such a thing to this car?
Yeah.
This car the tables were made by hand.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it had its own kitchen, its own bedrooms, and it was a beautiful car. Well,
Wow.
Those miners were angry because the economy took a shit under Pierre Elliott Trudeau, just like his son now.
Mm.
And the miners, they just basically destroyed the outside of that car and the inside with those big boulders. So we get in there, I get in there, and the first thing they tell me is you got to take all the windows out. We had to make we had to cut the glass, put the glass back in. We had to take the tables out, send it to the wood shop, had to make a brand new table by hand. I mean, this was beautiful stuff.
So that was an expensive friggin' job.
It was an expensive trip for Mr. Pierre Elliott.
Wow.
I mean, him and his three sons are in this, imagine this, his three sons are inside this rail car.
Yeah.
And when they're throwing these eggs and bananas and stuff before they reach Sudbury,
right?
You can imagine, and shouting obscenities.
Yeah.
You can imagine what young Justin Trudeau and his two brothers are thinking. They hate Canada now.
Yeah.
They hate us.
Yeah.
And because we're protesting their father,
right?
But they're part of the
Trudeau,
team now.
Yeah, Trudeau family. Put it that way.
So,
yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I have no respect for Justin. I have no respect for his father.
Right.
And the Trudeaus have raped and robbed this country for
big
years.
time. Big time.
And it even goes further than that. Who is running the country? It definitely isn't the Trudeaus or the Prime Minister.
Right.
It's the World Economic Forum, and we know that.
Yeah. You tied into the UN, tied into the big UN agenda.
But anyway, that's my story for old little John. And I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. But before we go, I'm going to give you some updates on the upcoming things we've got coming up on the show. Nick, you should be sitting up here. Actually, you'll be in a little more in the frame. Nick is going to give you a lowdown on some of the events that are coming up on the broadcast this week. Nick, take it away.
Here, hold on. This is how I'll introduce myself.
We're going to introduce you here.
So there was actually a news article
There, sit here, Nick.
written
Okay, we're
about
gonna
me.
switch places.
First time a reporter in this country has said the truth in 4.5 years. Lisa Joy. And there's actually
a North Battleford man who was a truck driver for 23 years and refused to get the COVID-19 vaccine says he has lost everything, including his job and young daughter, because of his decision to exercise autonomy over his body. 2 years later, he hasn't got his trucking job back, struggles financially, and misses his daughter. "I'm a completely broken man," he said. Now, as groups of protesters from across Canada return to Ottawa, he is considering joining them again. He had joined the protesters, which was dubbed the Freedom Convoy, in January 2022 and was with the protesters when the Emergencies Act was invoked. "When the time is right, I'm going to head back that way," he told sasktoday.ca in a phone interview. "I'm just watching everything unfold." Iwanchik said he had refused to get the COVID-19 vaccine because just before the COVID-19 pandemic was announced, he and his friends that he lived with in Lashburn had caught a nasty chest flu virus. "Not one of us went and seen the doctor," he said, adding that they took vitamins, drank lots of water, got rest, and sweated it out a couple of days. After the COVID-19 pandemic was announced, a vaccine was soon made available, and Iwanchik said he questioned how fast the record-breaking vaccine was released. Before COVID-19, Iwanchik had lived a relatively sheltered life, growing up on the farm and graduating high school in Mayfair alongside 11 other grads. He said he never really bothered with politics or social media. "I never even knew about political parties and never paid attention to politics. When I left the farm, I started trucking in the oil field. I figured I paid too much taxes, but whatever." After COVID-19 hit, he said he went down the rabbit hole, looking for answers and evidence. He ended up having a disagreement with his ex-wife over whether or not their daughter should be vaccinated. He said his wife made the decision to go behind his back and get their young daughter vaccinated. "I threw my phone across the house and put a hole in the drywall. I was so upset," he said. "The cops showed up and charged me for uttering threats." He added that previously, he and his ex-wife had a good co-parenting relationship, but COVID-19 had destroyed that. It came to a screeching halt. He admits that in the heat of the moment, he said things to his ex-wife, which caused him to be charged. He eventually accepted a plea deal. He is on probation until the end of November. Iwanchik also admits to being arrested for harassment of Premier Scott Moe and his family. He said that he had gone to the Premier's home in April 2022 and had the door slammed in his face. "I left a note with my full name, address, phone number, email, and social media. 6 months later, I was charged with harassment." He said he had wanted to talk to the Premier man-to-man, heart-to-heart, about issues facing the province during COVID-19. Iwanchik said that COVID-19 had opened his eyes to what he called corruption within the system, so he had joined the Truckers' Freedom Convoy to Ottawa in January 2022, but not driving his truck. "I jumped on with the convoy in my beat-up car and the $200 I had left to my name," he said, adding that's all he had left because he wouldn't comply with this shish. LJOY@glaciermedia.ca #CrimeCopsCourt_SK today. Don't count on social media to deliver your local news to you. Click here to bookmark SASKTODAY.
Nick is that person.
So, an update on that. My daughter has still not contacted me for over 2.5 years. I've emailed her wife because all my restrictions are done. There was never a restriction between me and my daughter. And this system has failed my daughter once again. Then with Mr. Scott Moe, 6 months later, they arrested me for that. And it just so happens
That was being in front of his house, right?
Yeah. Yeah, his wife slammed the door in my face, and it was very vulgar to me. So then I left a note on his parents' place because they weren't home. 6 months later, I got thrown right here in Saskatoon Correctional, in the COVID hole because I wouldn't comply and take their swabs. I was stuck in that hole for 7 days before they released me onto general population.
Yeah, they're not nice people in jail.
So I'm off of all conditions now. So Scott Moe, if you're listening, we'd like to talk to you again. That's all I got to say.
But anyway, we've managed to have some people coming in to talk about things for next week, and one of them is Jane Scarf is going to be in on Monday, and Wayne, what's your last? What is it?
Musica.
Musica is going to be in on Wednesday, and we have another surprise guest for Friday. I'm going to keep that one under our hats for now. But we have a full week coming up. So do tune in to the Ruddi Bruce broadcast Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. You don't want to miss it. So we'll see you guys there. This was just a little surprise video here because I like that Trudeau train thing, you know. I mean, Trudeau was a sick little puppy back in the day, and his kid is the same way. Go figure.
Yeah. Well, Pierre was a dictator. His son's a dictator.
Yeah.
And I mean, how anyone can support the Liberal Party or the NDP, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either.
I remember the last good NDP leader we had in Saskatchewan was Roy Romano.
Okay.
And you're going to say, why? Well, the province was deeply in debt, and we were about to go into arrears, and he took over the chain of command. He took the taxes. 1/3 went here, 1/3 went there, and 1/3 went there. And he paid the debt down to almost gone. And then our Conservatives took over. They shot the debt up. So it wasn't, you know, if the all NDPers were like Roy Romano.
Was he independent?
No, he was NDP.
Oh, he was an NDP.
And he kick-started the upgrader.
Okay.
The province bought into the upgrader, and we kick-started it. Yeah. Uranium, kick-started that. The pot actually got going again. I mean, he did a lot of good stuff for Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
You know, but unfortunately, when he retired and his party took over, they went backwards.
Okay.
And now we see what they're doing. They want 15-minute cities. They want all this. The NDP, and we're not going to accept that. I don't care.
No, we're not. We got some other big stuff coming up next week, so you don't want to miss it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, part one of this was the camera fell on the table and we lost live. This is take two of this same live, having coffee with the Patriots. And that's what everybody should be doing, getting together and standing up for your country. Because that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Standing up for your country. Taking back what's ours. Because, hey, I'm not leaving it up to crooked politicians to do it for us. So we got lots to do. Okay, guys. So till next time, I'm just getting the word out there. We're going to cut it short there. And as you can see, I'm a busy boy. So Monday, 6 o'clock, tune in. You don't want to miss it. Till then.